right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Magickal Coffee Hour. Hopefully, you all can hear me. Uh, I had a slight mic malfunction during a locals live earlier this week or last week, but hopefully, everybody can hear me just fine. We are live both here and over on Rumble, so yay, we actually remembered to do that. My apologies for having some tech difficulties over there last week. But it looks like their streaming is actually improving. They got some new tools I want to try out this week when I get a chance. Let's see, Blue Star, welcome. So, as you all know, this is going to be the first time where Magickal Coffee Hour kind of shifts to our new format that we're going to be trying, where I'm actually going to be talking about an actual topic for the first half of Coffee Hour. And then the second half is when we'll open up the open forum for your all's questions, which you can also ask about the actual topic we'll be discussing tonight if you so wish. Okay, so let's see here. We did have a few people drop a few questions. I won't go into too deep a detail. I do try to get these questions for you all. Ruby Lord, there's no best way to contact an entity. You need to, if you're talking evocation, use a viable working evocation system. I have an entire course on evocation. You can check that out. Though evocation is somewhat advanced, you can also use an astral sanctum to reach out to them. Easy peasy. As to creator, what do the gods need our prayer? Absolutely not. They are completely independent of us. They do not require us in any shape, form, or fashion. That is actually a myth that I'm honestly not sure where it comes from. In fact, the only sources I can find for it actually comes from fiction. So there's that. As to how do they become gods? Okay, God is not something you become. That is a misnomer that we have. They don't view themselves as gods. They are themselves. So Odin is Odin, Freya is Freya. In fact, they view themselves as Asir or Vanir. They don't view themselves as gods. It is the people external that looks to them and views them as gods. They are entities. They have reached a level of mastery. They are still growing. They are not perfect beings. They are not infallible. They are still growing. As to the second part of that, should you reach a point of ascension, you will continue to grow. You are not masterful. You do not know everything. When you hit ascension, you still grow. If your goal for ascension is to overcome life's troubles, trials, and tribulations, tough luck, because it only gets harder after ascension. But you will continue to grow. You will continue to learn, and you will continue to develop. See, Blue Star, welcome. Angela, good to see you. Immortal, hello. Bless Dad, good to see you. You can post the questions either after or during. If it's a topic question, I will try to answer it during. All right, so let's jump into this. I'll pull up some notes here. So for those on Rumble, I may not see your questions until after I'm able to move the notes, just so y'all know. I got two screens, and I can't afford another computer. All right, so we're going to follow up with our Kabbalistic Angel series today. I know I've been a few weeks short on this, and I do apologize. This week we're going over the fourth Kabbalistic angel. This angel's name, a few people pronounced it differently. I've looked for a few pronunciations. The most common one I found is the one I'm going to use, okay? And it is Elim. Oh, God, every time I try to say this fast. Elemiah, okay? And you can see the spelling, of course, in the title of the video, Elemiah. So the M-I is making that me sound. This is an angel I have worked with some in the past. I do not know them very well. I will admit to that. And you can probably tell that because I struggle to pronounce this individual's name. So moving right along our little checklist that we normally cover. This angel, again, we're dealing with those top angels. So the choir associated with this one is the Seraphim. The ruling planet, again, is that premium mobile. There we go. Now we get to areas that this angel is actually good at working with and helping, right? Because most people, when they reach out, they're looking for some aid, some wisdom, some help. This one can help help ease mental worries and anxiety. Is the best way that I can describe it. A lot of people, it does deal with some of that. A lot of people will reference the mental ease, like they're good at helping with mental worries. Um, and a lot of people view anxiety as mental, and there is kind of a mental component to anxiety. I won't deny that. At the same time, there is definitely an emotional side to anxiety as well, right? So that's why I wanted to list them the same here. But yeah, definitely helpful on those that mental worries and anxiety, those things that you're just going basket over whether you can help them or not. Actually, a really good angel to talk to. Another one that the next one on the list is he is great at helping you find a new way of doing something. Now, this one I have found particularly interesting, and when I've talked with other magicians, because it's not like you're going to learn an overall new skill. It actually takes something you generally already know or know of a way of doing it. And for whatever reason, that either it becomes not efficient or not viable for you anymore. The angel's really good at helping you find a way to accomplish that same thing in a new way, more efficient way, or better way. I really have found that one quite fascinating. Um, and the next one, this is actually one where I've worked with this angel a bit, and I've had a few friends, and that's aid in safe travel and aid the leader of a group to ensure the group's safe travel. That is one of the things you don't hear about with a lot of entities. They're really good at doing safe travel. When I move, I honestly work with Odin and other entities to help with safe travel. I don't particularly work with this angel per se, but at the same time, I do know a lot of magicians who has actually worked with this angel specifically for group travel. They prefer other entities for individual travel, but they specifically work with this angel when it comes to group travel. Let's see here. When is a good time to ask questions? Got that. Okay, so I'm making sure where I'm supposed to be in the questions. For humankind, what are the differences between angels and other spirits or deities? Is it location or do they have different skills? I'm not sure I understand your question because technically humans are bound to the physical realm until we hit that point of ascent. Once you hit that point of ascent, you're no longer in that physical realm. You're no longer in that cycle of reincarnation. As to how that differs between angels and everything else, that's a deeper philosophical question, and we may try and get into that in a little bit because entities by and large are entities. They do seem to have different habits and traits, but in most cases, not all cases, there doesn't seem to be too much separating them in most cases. Like I do know people who works with angels and worships them as deities. Is that right? Is that wrong? It works for them. I don't begrudge them. Same thing with, you have demonolatry. They work with demons like gods. Is that right or wrong? It works for them. It's their path. I don't think we actually have a good, solid, hard definition of what differentiates these. I think it varies from person to person and path to path and even tradition to tradition. Okay. And I just realized I turned off my phone for the live stream out of habit. And I should have the sigil on my phone. So we got to let my phone boot back up. We'll get back to the sigil though. Okay. Now, in all these, we've had a psalm. They use a psalm instead of a traditional incantation, which I've been enjoying. And I've also enjoyed seeing how they connect with the common abilities that these entities are sometimes given. Now, the particular psalm used for Elemiah is Psalms 6:4. Okay. Um, which is return, O Lord, deliver my soul, O save me thy mercy's sake. And when I typed this one, I thought I finally found one that didn't fit. When you're preparing your notes, you're not really thinking. You're just filling in the notes, correct? I actually have to say, now that I'm talking with you all and I've read this off, and not only am I, reading my notes, but I'm also conveying to you, um, which is making my brain process it more. That fits. That really does. Because if we think about the help and aid with mental worries and anxiety, that is absolute fitting. Stuck in a rut, can't find how to accomplish something, need a new way to do it. Yeah, I could see that. Um, I've I've asked many an entity when I hit a writer's block or something. Oh crap, my phone may froze. Okay. We may be slightly sigilless for a bit. And the safe travel, kind of same thing. I mean, I work with Odin for safe travel, so that psalm could easily be plugged into that broader meaning. I did not find one appears. My apologies. Well, not to you because I didn't tell you all that. Now, my specific experience with this before we get into questions and everything. I've contacted this angel about stress and anxiety. Okay. This is one of the areas that when I was path working with these angels, one of the things that I did reach out with was stress, anxiety, and actually being able to sleep. I thought, well, or not being, being unable to sleep. Let me make sure that's correct. Unable to sleep because I was actually very unable to sleep. And though they tried to help me, I often would not let go of issues at hand. I really would not. I am definitely one of those people that sometimes have trouble letting go of things that are stressors, especially at that point in my life. Not going to lie, I can be my own enemy on that. And in all truth, they point blank told me that. And it was one of those things I really needed to hear. So they knew that they were trying to help ease these things. But at the same time, while I'm asking them to ease it, I'm just like continuing to pour fuel on the fire. And they're like, look, you are your own enemy here. You're causing more of a problem than the problem. And, it was that kind of tough love thing. You don't really hear a lot from angels, but or about angels, I should say. But they can do it. And I actually always appreciate it when they do because I don't know about you all, but I can be a bit thick when I am getting in my own way. So I needed to hear that. Um, However, they would sit and talk with me and quite in depth about new ways to do things that I've done around the house or things that were bogging me down and actually causing stress. So they actually kind of plugged that one in, even though that technically I hadn't actually asked that. And I always really enjoy talks with entities, and I got to say, I enjoyed these talks with this entity during our time working together. I really, really did. And I would later learn they knew that um, this would actually work as a distraction to me. So a lot of these talks and a lot of these things we were doing, even having me do things around the house that I hadn't even asked them about, it was more of a distraction to get my mind off the stressors so I could de-stress, I could relax, and then my sleeping patterns started leveling out and getting a little bit better there. Um, a little trickery shenanigan, which I can totally, appreciate. So they did help me with what I asked them to help me with. And honestly, they showed me how much stress I give myself, okay? And as someone who does live in a life where I got a lot of stress going on, I really do. I really shouldn't be adding to it myself. So, by and large, I really have to admit I did enjoy working with this particular Goetic angel. And my phone, I think, is ready. Come on, open. Okay, it's almost ready. We're going to get this sigil, by golly. We will. All right, let's see here. Come on, phone. Normally I have these open beforehand. Aha, gotcha. Okay. Is that it? Yep, that's it. Cool. All right. Now again, these are those nice little. You're looking at the red lines here on this one. Let's get that up there as best I can. Yep, there we go. Let me see if I can get a light on that. Oh, that didn't work. Okay, so those red lines are the sigil there. Some people will put it in a larger circle. Some people will put it in a star shape, all kinds of things. I've seen it done many ways. The base and primary sigil are those red lines. And that's honestly the one I use. Always have used the base red because I'm not artistic. If you find any of the more artistic, feel free to try them. I just stick with the base one. And as far as being here on the YouTube and trying to show you all a sigil, simple sigils are easier to show. It's just that simple. All right. There we go. Not too bad. I should also remind everybody, if you do have questions, let us know. We do now have a locals community, the Working Dragon Mystic Layer. You will find the links below any of our videos. Check us out there. We are doing a lot of community things over there. We're going live. We're talking. We're sharing content we honestly cannot share anywhere and having discussions over there. And we're doing giveaways also. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun over there. So consider checking us out. We have both a members area and a supporters area. And honestly, if you're interested in supporting the channel, that is the best place to do it. Not only do you get far more perks over there because we have the tools to do it, including access to free workshops. Even when they're over at the school, the students will still get access to those. But we do workshops with the supporters community quite a bit as well. And I mean, this is something that I didn't realize it was as big an issue as it was. A lot of you actually cared about it, and have asked me about it. So locals does allow us to keep more of the support funds that you give us than, well, anyone else. So period. We won't name names, but anyone else. So if you are interested in supporting us, check that out. But like I said, there's also a free member site over there, and we're going to start doing some hangouts where you can just hang out with myself in the admin chat and have fun. Not necessarily work related, just possibly hang out and have some fun. Also, if you are watching this and you're enjoying this, give us a thumbs up. It does help the channel tremendously. Just a quick thumbs up. We do have a super chat, so if I miss your question or anything, you're welcome to use the super chat. It flashes it up on the screen as we get into the questions. Any super chat with or without a question of $5 more enters you into a spell working I do every Monday for prosperity, well-being, and luck. Okay, so all the general normal announcements out of the way. Anyone got any questions? Because that was like, this angel's pretty straightforward and simple. If you have questions on this particular angel, I will do my best to answer them if I can. Or we can now open it to general questions as always too. Mugs up to you. Let's see. Arc Dragon, good to see you. Violet Star, welcome. Megan, good to see you as well. Have you ever made a pact with a dragon? How did that turn out? Dragons will not do pact work. They don't do it. They won't. The dragon philosophy is, because a pact is essentially a promise. It's almost like taking out a loan. It's like, you do this for me, I'm going to do this. And, there's a guarantee exchange there. The way dragons view it, if you are not capable of motivating yourself to achieve your goal, they're not wasting their time. There should not have to be a catch-22 to get you off your ass to do something. That is their view on it. They're pretty strict and harsh. So dragons do not pact. And they actually can get downright flipping rude and grumpy as piss if you ask them about it. But at the same time, they do realize, like, if you're a silly human coming up and you've never talked about this subject with a dragon, they do get over it quickly. But no, They actually do not do pacts for that reason. It's a philosophical thing for them, true, but they just won't do them. And if you press the matter, they get grumpy and stay grumpy. I actually do have a friend who tried to press that matter. They kept pressing it. I want to say he tried it like 10 or 12 times, approaching not even the same dragon, but dragons do talk. Like, word gets around. And one of the dragons that was, I think it was either the fifth one that it was originally the fifth, or the very last one he asked, like that dragon still will not talk to him. Won't do it. It will avoid him. It's just, nope, it's done. And from what he said, a good chunk of the others, like they don't work with him unless they have to. They avoid him, but they will work with him if it comes to it, like if there's a necessity. As to that, like that one though, that one don't care. It's not going to have anything to do with you. So they can get really pissy and grumpy if you push the matter. And I kind of get it. Can it be overkill? Possibly. But we all have that person. We've pushed them too far. And honestly, I say it when it comes to like toxic people, not people asking me a question, but toxic people, get the frick out of my life. At the same time, let me think, let's pull this back a little. And if I look at this as a teacher, I do have certain individuals that pop into mind. I ain't sharing names. That honestly and truly, they ask me the same question over and over and over and over and over. Oftentimes I answer the questions, like here in stream, we get the same question a lot. But also as we get those questions, I don't know, most of the time I don't know the same person's asked it over and over. Because it could be a new person coming in, they've been here, they weren't there for that particular episode of Magickal Coffee Hour, and I'll answer it, I don't mind. But there are a few individuals, and I can think of one who pops in, and there for a while, literally for 3 months straight, every stream they asked the same question, and I had answered it 6 times. And they kept asking the same question as if I would give them a different answer or hoping, I don't know. So I started ignoring them. I started ignoring their question. And then when I started ignoring their question, they started cussing, and then they got booted. So yeah, in some ways I understand it. In other ways, I try to be as understanding as possible to an extent, because I only have so much time and energy anyway. I can't like constantly answer the same question. But so in that respect, I kind of get it. But, I do think they're a little excessively grumpy on that matter most of the times, though. If that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, it's helpful to know ahead of time. I'm glad I'm not grumpy. They're going to be grumpy. So yeah, that's probably beneficial. Well, I'm not grumpy about that. I'm grumpy about other things in life, believe me. I watched your video on pathworking from about 3 years ago, and I'm interested on Norse Pathworking. Can you suggest somewhere I can find it? I'm guessing pathworking is guided meditations. Guided meditation is a form of pathworking. It's not the only form. All my classes, like Dragon Magic 101, those classes are set up to be pathworking. So things you work through, you develop. You go through a process, you go through steps. Each step has its reasons, its goals, its experiences. And those experiences are going to be unique, not only for the individual, but every time the individual goes through the individual pathworking. So they're actually something that can be repeated over and over. Ironically, I am actually working on a Norse one. I know that don't help you. And I've been trying to find a good Norse pathworking to recommend in the meantime. So far, I've not been able to. The short of what I would recommend in the meantime, find you a good book on Norse practice and ideals, or even check out this channel. Like you could use the hailing ritual to do an entire pathworking, okay? And take that hailing ritual and start with the Ajir and the Vanir, okay? And you want to reach out to certain deities for sure. Like you want to reach out and you want to work with Odin. You want to reach out and work with Thor. You want to reach out and work with Freyr. I'd also work with Heimdall, actually, is a fantastic one to make sure you work with. I personally think Loki's a good choice, but I will admit he's not for everyone. So if you are iffy on Loki, fine, avoid Loki. I get that. I respect that. One-on-one with my students, I tell them not to avoid Loki because there's lessons that you need to learn. And like if you are one of my students one-on-one where I'm working with you, we're never going to take the easy trail. We're not going to take the easy way out. We are absolutely going to do the thing over here. And if it's hard to do, we're going to do it. If it's uncomfortable, we're going to do it because that's how you grow and develop. And that's who I am as a teacher. So if you need a safe space or you need the soft and cushy, I'm not the teacher for you. But like I said, I do respect that some people don't want to do that. But I would definitely work with those. And then I would actually attempt to reach out to the land whites as well. And work with Odin and Freya to definitely to dive into some wisdom. I would make sure from there to start working with more of the Azure and the Vanir specifically. Don't dive into the Jotuns and some of the more chaotic primordial beings until you have a good long-term practice and understanding. Because I've seen time and time again, people jump into working with some of these other entities that they don't understand that aren't actually part of the Azure and the Vanir. Things that come to mind are Nidhogg, Jormungandr, Fenrir. I know a lot of people who has unalived themselves working with Fenrir. And the Jotun are very much a power of destruction. That's not to say they're evil. I'm not saying they're evil in any way, but a lot of people try to make these things fluffy and sweet and cute and nice, and the Norse don't care about what you want them to be and what you think they're going to be. Those energies are going to come in and wreck your life if you're not careful. You got to be ready for it. So I would avoid those and stick with the Azure and the Vanir. I'm not going to say the Azure and Vanir are easy. They're not easy, but that is the place I would start. And I would definitely start with Odin, Freya, Thor, Heimdall, Tyr. Sorry, my man, forgot about you. I definitely check in with Tyr. Also a great one. Actually, I would recommend it. Crap, I can't think of her name now. Shit, she's going to get me. I'd also include Hel. I'd actually reach out to Hel. She's one I think you would also benefit from. So consider that. As far as a book, if you're looking for a book, I don't know a book that actually includes a good solid path working for the Norse. That's why I said you could use the hailing ritual as we laid out here. You could, if you've trained your arcane senses and you've worked on building an astral sanctum, which we have a video on astral sanctums, you could even use that method to contact them. If you're wanting kind of a concept of Norse ideals, practices, and philosophies, it's not a path working but to help guide your path working. Is that book laying around here? There is what's the name of the book? I want to say something like The Beginner's Guide to Heathenism or Basic Guide to Heathenism, something like. Let me check my bookshelf real fast. Let's take 2 seconds. Yep, that's it. Right there. Nope, that's not it. Crap. Oh, crap. My apologies, it's elsewhere because I am working on that path working, so I can't think of the book. But it's like The Complete Guide to Heathenism or something weird like that. It's something simple and ridiculous title, but it's one that I think it does a good job of explaining. Hold on. I got done teaching a class, and I think I just found it because I may have set something on top of my other research notes. Yep. Oh, I was way off. Yep. I'll pick that up later. It is the Practical Heathen's Guide to Ossetry. That. There's the author. Let's not cover up the author. Some people like this book. Some people don't like it. It honestly just talks about some of the traditions, some of the viewpoints that are used. Remember, heathenism is a reconstruction, so we don't have all the details of how it was truly done way back in the day. People are trying to rebuild it as best they can. Some things we've learned, some things we haven't. But that is a reasonable and practical starting point for most people. So it might be worth checking out if that is what you're wanting. Till then, you're just going to have to bear with me because life has gotten really super chaotic, and I am trying to get back into the swing to get that course filmed. I actually wanted it way further along than it is currently, and I apologize for that. But life happens, you adapt. Hope that makes sense. All right. Making a dragon grumpy, not really something I'm interested in. Yeah, right. It depends on what you're approaching it for. It's about learning. It's about growing. It's about developing yourself. It will put you in it. Pathworkings take you out of your comfort zone. They are about learning. They are about growing. And every pathworking will ultimately approach this differently and in different ways. But like for me, when I design a personal pathworking, there's trance work, there's evocation work. In some cases, I use invocation work, but I really dive into it. I also use a lot of journey work and soul travel within my personal pathworkings. Anyone who's ever taken any of my classes will see these. Yes, I do use a lot of meditation in there. There's also a lot of meditative personal work. There's shadow work. There's energy work that I do. That I really try to run the gamut and get as much out of a pathworking as I can. Even in Dragon Magic 101, we use a lot of those massive things. Not all of them, because Dragon Magic 101 is technically a beginner's course, but it is a pathworking, and you can get a lot out of it. Let's see. Soft and squishy, not really allowed in the dragon. No, dragons don't really do soft and squishy too well. They really do not. Though it still amazes me how gentle they can be, and yet you're right. That comment actually still stands true. I'll never fail to be amazed by how gentle they can be when they choose. Let's see. I've tried to do some energetic alchemy, building off the Mercury retrograde video for healing. I don't think I was doing it right, as I did this twice, but got sicker. Not sure where I went wrong. I'm not exactly sure. I know the Mercury retrograde video you're talking about, but that video is about making sure the energy's not affecting you. So I don't know how you adjusted it or manipulated it for healing purposes. That one I really can't troubleshoot you for that one, Char. But it actually sounds fascinating all the same. I'm not going to, like, some people might be like, oh, you shouldn't do that. I experiment with crap all the time. So I get, yeah, I don't know. I've never tried I've done healing during Mercury retrograde, but that was more to prove a point. Don't know how to set that one up right now, Char. Angela, thank you. No problem. Is there a way to have a teacher-student relationship with a dragon, like learning more of their ancient wisdom? That's literally what dragon magic is. That's the entire concept of dragon magic. So I don't know if you're in Dragon Magic 101 or not. Is that Megan? But in Dragon Magic 101, the first thing they will do is you work what they call a guardian dragon. This dragon actually does act as an assistant to you. They also act as a teacher to you. But they're also studying you because they are very young dragons. They cap out and they start around 500 years old to think they cap out around 1,000. So they're on the smaller side for dragons. Some of them are even like every bit the size of this little stuffed parrot I keep. And some of them can get up to, Rottweiler size or like. After you found your guardian, you would work with your guardian for a time, get to know them, build a bit of a bond and a relationship. Then you will move on to find what is called the co-magician with amongst dragons. Now, this co-magician, this is a much, much older dragon, and he is your primary teacher. That is actually that exact relationship you are looking for. Their job is to teach you. You don't get to pick them, they pick you. And you are assigned not the one you want, but the one that would benefit you most. This is not always a pleasant thing. I should know, mine's an asshole. But weirdly enough, as much as him and I butted heads the first 3 or 4 years, maybe, we're now inseparable friends because, yes, he's an absolute asshole and a dick. And the way he teaches lessons is not lessons that I necessarily like, but it's also I learn them. I truly learn them. He knows how to get through to me in ways no one else can, and I truly appreciate that. And it took me a while to see that. But that is exactly how you do that. And if you're interested, check out Dragon Magic 101. It's over at the online school. There should be a link below the videos for the online school. Jade is taking care of family matters, so I can't get her to drop the link for me today. I do apologize about that. I can attempt it. Last time I tried it, it didn't work, but I can attempt it. Nope, it's not going to work for me again. Crap. Let me see here. Thinking. Oh, I got an idea. This might work. Nope, that's not it either. Crap. Oh, I figured it out. I figured out where to get the link. All right, let's see if this works, people. Oh, there it is. There's the online school link. Look, I did the thing. Let's see. Vandani, welcome. Immortal, hey, good to see you. I'm on the second Dragon Magic Pathworking, Dragon Magic 102. It's not easy work, but it's immensely helpful in all aspects. I'm glad to hear, Immortal. I am. And hopefully your guardian and your co are helping you all the way. I know they are. Hopefully you're not having as rough a time as I did. But then again, you may not be as hard-headed as I am, so that could be part of it. But you are right. It can be a rough bit of work, but self-improvement, self-mastery is never easy. In fact, anything worth doing is never easy. So interesting, but yeah, give that a look-see if you want to. 3 or 4 years of budding. Yeah, he's stubborn. I'm stubborn. And well, let's be honest. If we're being truly honest, who's going to win the stubborn fest between him and I? It's going to be him because he can outlive me easy. We still bicker and argue like an old married couple or two really close friends. We do. But now instead of it being annoying, it's more that fun friendship kind of bickering. And like he has no problem smacking the shit out of me energetically, or quite literally putting me through a mountain in the other realms if I need it. So that's, But I adore the dragons because I love their no nonsense approach. I also love the fact oftentimes they will dance around the direct answer because you will learn more if they kind of walk you around until you find it than if they just give it to you. And because of that, it can be infuriating sometimes. But at the same time, they're still doing it because what is the best path for you to learn? That is ultimate. They don't care about your feelings. They don't care. They care about what is the best path. What is the best path for you to learn and master yourself? And that will guide them the whole way. Good question, though. I'm looking to getting into seed magic, runic magic, and looking forward to your future classes on Norse Pathworking. Thank you, Angela. I am definitely trying. Ooh, the delay is like driving me batty. I do apologize. Um, when you manifest something good, is it natural for something more negative to happen later to balance it out? Not necessarily. There's a lot of people who believe in this concept of the threefold law and all this, or this concept that something positive can't happen without a negative. Um, First off, you have to understand the multiverse does not view things in the concept of positive, negative, good, or evil. It doesn't. It's not as black and white as all of that. Ether is ether is ether is ether. Or for those who don't understand the term ether, energy is energy is energy is energy. Okay. And the reason I don't use the word energy as much is it's not actually the correct term. But you can manifest something. There is constantly things changing. Things are always changing in motion. If I need $100, even if I don't do the magic, there's going to be some jackass at a casino blowing his life savings or his rent because he's a dumbass, right? So there's always plenty of things already in motion to pull from. And it will pull from those. You did not cause the other thing. It's just the natural cycle. Just like animals are dying every day of the week, okay? Whether I go hunting or not, something's going to die, right? Natural selection, cycle of life, Mother Nature. A lion's going to chase and eat an antelope, right? Whether I do anything or not. So a lot of people do get into this religious, spiritual concept, even pacifism and all this, to where they will not use magic to manifest something because, oh, if I do this, something positive for me, something negative either has to happen to me or someone else, and that's bad. It doesn't actually work that way. And that's also why it kind of irritates me the way people try to take scientific terms and twist and manipulate them and call them something they're not. Because there's nothing good, evil, or positive or negative about ether or utilizing it. In truth, a positive and a negative is a mathematical term, right? Very simple. Very simple. It is mathematical. Anything above a perfect zero state or the point of zero, that's a positive. Anything below the point of zero is negative. It has nothing to do with good, evil, feeling good, feeling bad. We, however, do use these in a dialect form. There's a big fancy word for it. Where we're using another word to mean something to describe it, like the feeling in the room. We say this room has a negative feeling. Well, the room isn't sitting at a mathematical negative to zero. But that's stupid, right? Colloquial, that's the word, colloquial. But we're using it colloquially to describe that. And somehow along those lines, people have started to attribute them to these things. And I've heard a lot of explanations of them, some downright cuckoo conspiracy, like, no, they're absolutely doing it to control other people because, these traditions or these spiritual practices, and they're just trying to build their own little cult and who Illuminati. I don't believe that. I think terminology was used, terminology that other people understood was used, and the telephone game happened. It got so common, its actual root of origin was lost. And later on, its actual meaning was lost. And it just kept getting used and used and used and used over and over and over and over and over again. And that kind of led us where we're at. that if you want my honest opinion, I don't think it's a giant Illuminati conspiracy. There's plenty of people out there who will disagree with me, and they're more than welcome. I don't mind. But I don't believe that. So I hope that helps in some way. The manifestation does not require it. And I know that was a huge rant for that question, but it is a good question. And there was a lot of moving pieces to it that I personally feel are important. Y'all may think it wasn't important at all. I get that. But then again, you guys have to come here for my ranting because I'm not an attractive guy. So other than what information I hand out that I hope is good information, like the angelic videos and whatnot, or the topics, and then you know, yeah. Any other questions? That's a good one. Mugs up to you. Nope. Are we actually being a little quiet today here? Let's see, Megan. Informative, ranting, and raving, always educational. There, that's the ticket, Megan. I'm good at that. I really am. I will speak my mind openly, and I will share what I've learned through life as best I can, and hopefully that helps you all. I've said it before. The reason I share so willingly is I would like to see others go farther than I go in my life. I think if that happens, like if I share enough, and if I can make it to this point, I hope my students, at least some or most of them, if this is my point, I want to see them to go way off here off screen and do better. And I would hope they too share it. And, humanity in and of itself progresses in such a way, if that makes sense. Could be a fool's hope, but it's my hope, and I'll be the fool. Not having this. Yeah, I got it right that time, didn't I, boy? Total newbie question. I understand Lucifer sometimes appears as a dragon. Is he a dragon, an angel? What category? Lucifer is not a dragon. He does take on the shape of a dragon, but that does not make him a dragon. He is one of the entities that his imagery pulls from the ideal and the mythology and the associations of the imagery of the dragon. Okay. And that is a completely different thing than being a true dragon. The dragons understand he utilizes that imagery. Okay. And they get that. They understand that there's that power, there's that creation of fire, there's that strength, that independence. They get that. They understand that. And culturally, the image of a dragon for so many cultures, actually practically every culture, if not every culture in humanity, has very strong significance. Not always the same significance, but strong significance. And utilizing that imagery is a way to help him connect with these concepts and ideals and pass the information and teach that information, if that makes sense. Technically, he's an angel, technically speaking, within the categories of angels. Now, Lucifer himself is one of those entities that will ask you point blank, what is an angel? And the problem is, it's very hard to define that. There are certain aspects of angelic celestial beings that their energetic signatures, in a lot of ways, or their etheric signatures, if you will, does appear to be very unique. But it also mimics that of what most people refer to as demons. So we know that, technically speaking, by and large, they're ultimately the same entities. And you will find these things amongst gods and everything else. When we're talking about what these entities are, very few of them are easily separated into categories. They really are. It's more of the way we categorize entities is almost like the way Southerners categorize each other. They're all Southerners, but it's just the point of view that changes it, right? Because I know friends from Alabama, I know friends from Tennessee, Texas, and hands down, that's a Texan, that's a Tennessean, that's a Kentuckian. There's no doubt about it. Does that make them not human? No, that just makes them, that state has its own little culture about it, and that culture shows. Look at the categories of most entities the same way. It's more of a cultural thing, how they choose to live and handle themselves over anything else. Angela, I joined Locals recently. Is it similar to Patreon? It's better than Patreon. First off, they allow me to do what I want to do, say what I want to do, and share content with you. Also, they contacted us late last year to actually check in on our itsy bitsy tiny community. Like, we're bigger now than we was then, and they wanted to know what they could do to actually help our community. Okay. And I was told early on that locals would not like us because we do magic, and, locals is a Christian thing, and and they don't give a shit what we do. In fact, they absolutely love the idea of what we do. And they not only did they take our suggestions, they've already implemented things that we needed and the community was asking for. Absolutely amazing. Love them. But by and large, it is sort of like it. It does allow us to post some video content, allows us to post some articles. It allows us to do some live streaming. Supporters can actually chat and put posts of their own up there. It does have an anti-troll thing, so members can't, just enter into chats, and the free members can't jump in there and chat. That prevents a lot of the trolling and stuff. We've even seen them in here in live stream. We've seen everyone come in here and, shoot their mouth off in so many different ways. But it does allow us to interact and connect with the community. And on the supporter side, it allows you to support the channel. And they actually give us more of what you donate than Patreon did. And Patreon actually deleted us. They actually said, no, you're no longer welcome here. They got rid of us. But instead of tiers, we could just have one straight payment. So there's not tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. If you join over there, if you become a supporter, that one payment gets you access to all the supporter stuff across the board. And the more the community grows, the more the community gets, which I like. It is kind of nice that they do that. I've been really impressed by them. I'm not a man easy to impress, and I've been pretty impressed by them. In fact, I actually recently saw something where when I was setting up the stream tonight over on Rumble, it looks like I can stream live at Rumble and it goes straight to locals. I don't know how it's worked. I haven't tested it yet. I'm going to play around with it this week. So those of you on locals, if you randomly see me pop up on camera, I'm going to make sure I have a shirt on or something while I'm testing this, because if it just randomly works and starts streaming and, I'm there and you see me up like this, you know what's going on. I will say hi or whatnot, but I'm hoping to get that figured out. So you guys actually may be able to watch streams straight from locals, and they do have a phone app too, by the way. So we're figuring it out. And that's actually come that has been the landing page in the home for our community, because so many people are worried about some of the censorship and stuff going out there. I will say this: YouTube has been good to me for the YouTube agreement. Okay, plain and simple. At the same time, I do want to make sure I have a place where you all can find me, a place we're not just going to up and disappear at random, and a place where our content can sit and rest if need be. And that's kind of what we're doing. So yeah, hope that answers your question. I'm so used to being the one out of the know when it comes to technology that I forget there's people who actually also don't know some of these newer tech things coming. Because I'm usually the last person to know anything. Do you have any stories about your paranormal investigations we can hear about? Been feeling the Halloween mood earlier. Oh, I'm sure I do. I don't know which ones I've shared and which ones I haven't. But I'm sure I do. Like the two that come to my mind right now, and I'll be honest, it's because the guy's birthday's coming up, and I dearly miss him since he's passed away. My buddy Jim. Jim is not a metaphysical guy. He's not a paranormal guy. Jim is a very straightforward Texan. He likes his beer, he likes his whiskey, and he likes his guns. That's Jim. And for the most part, he would definitely be someone that I put into, he's not a believer in the paranormal, but he respects superstitions all the same. Me and Raven had to go do an investigation on this one property, and the guy who was supposed to assist us bailed. He wouldn't go, afraid of the place. Jim's like, I'll go. So he went. And we're walking through the place. We was in, I want to say it was a guest bedroom. And it was kind of a cool one because, like, you come in this door, and then the bedroom's here, And then there's a loop around door here that opens up into this large hall that goes back into like a dining room or a living room. And we just come in this door. We're rounding here where the bed was. And you just see like this large, heavy ass, like 20-pound thing go. And it hits the wall and just falls. And you see Jim, like he snaps, he's looking at it, and then he just slowly turns to me. Has that happened to you before? Have you seen that? I was like, I've seen things move, not quite that big, so that's partially at first. And he's like, oh, okay. And we continue to walk, and Raven's in front of him. I'm behind him. And people, I shit you not, this grown-ass man reaches into his jacket, pulls out a single-action army revolver and cocks it, and is now walking through the house like this. And I'm like, are you going to shoot a ghost? You do know they're dead. They're intangible. That's not going to do squat. And he looked at me and he's like, it's like a teddy bear. I feel better. I loved taking that man on investigations. I probably shouldn't have it sometimes when I think about it, but I loved it. That's Megan, that's awesome. They appreciate the community. Right? The fact that they actually care about the small guys on there, just that warmed my heart. That was wonderful. Because that was around Christmas time. That was like the best Christmas present you could have gave me. Is like, we got all these other larger communities out here. Like, I don't know if Joe Rogan's over there, but you know, people like him who have like millions and millions and millions of people who support them. And then you got little old me, but they actually took time to not email me. They actually did a live one-on-one video chat with me. That they went the distance. So I was pretty freaked out, and I loved it. I was giddy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm still giddy about it. Why do dragons not like spirit boxes? Because spirit boxes are unreliable. A good chunk of what we get through spirit boxes is very, very unreliable information, and too many people treat it as gospel. And because of this, dragons refuse to communicate through them because they do not want their words twisted or taken wrong because of a malfunction theory or device. And the use of spirit boxes is entirely theory. So yeah, they don't like them. And again, the use of the device also is a crutch that stops you from developing. That's another reason they don't like them. If you're not willing to do the work to develop yourself to speak with them, they ain't got nothing to say to you. Let's see. I've seen that word used different ways. Could you define how you're using the word psychopomp for me? Before I just, because like, unfortunately, not everybody uses the same definition on that. And, you know, because a lot of people use it as, do you try to stir up the spirits? Do you try to contact them? Do you know Ouija boards and all that? By and large, we do investigations because we want to find scientific data of these entities. We don't do a lot of the dramatizing on it. We really do not. Because it's really kind of stupid to stir things up, especially when it's not your home. Wildstar, take it easy. Have a good one. But we do try to stick. I'm not going to say we always stick to it, but our preference is to stick strictly to the data, strictly to the evidence. Like my crew, we only take Class A EVPs seriously, because if I have to put it through a computer, if I have to run it through a program, if I have to manipulate it in some way to get the audio, that's further from proof and more of a, hey, look what I found from random sounds. So, you know, that's problematic there. That's not to say that we don't have friends and everybody who listens to our VBPs and does it. It's just we get some interesting things. It's compelling. If it's under Class A, the best we can say is it's compelling. It's interesting. But we're really looking for something bigger, and because of that, we're really harsh on what we take as credible evidence. We're not saying that others who do things differently are wrong. It's just that's not how we do it. And there's actually, I will say, like many of you know, that when it comes to spirit boxes, I hate the damn, or for the longest time, I hated the damn things. Like there's a piece of junk. I thought they're absolutely useless in investigations. And by and large, I'm going to say I still largely hold to that. However, I have, within the last 4 to 6 months, seen a few pieces of evidence dealing with spirit box technology where the evidence, I would put it as very, very, very highly compelling, and now has me far more interested in the spirit box theory. I do still find it unreliable on large. I think a lot of people are getting things from white noise that isn't what they want it to be. They're almost hearing what they want to hear. But I do think there's more there to the theory than I originally gave it credit. And that's fine. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to learn. So I am considering diving down that hole a bit more. I still want to pull some more evidence from a few other investigators I know before I quite commit to it. Okay, so that depends on the situation. So first off, where they need to go, where they're supposed to go. I actually have issues with this personally, because how do you or anyone have the right to say where they're supposed to go or where they need to go, right? I have known a lot of shamans. I've known a lot of spiritualists, so-called healers. I know a lot of religious people where they're saying that this entity needs to go here. They need to do this. What if their actual desire is to be here? What if that's it? What if this is what they want? Okay. Because there is nothing in the multiverse that says we must go from Earth to name your random undead world or spirit realm. Nothing says you have to go to Valhalla. Nothing says you have to go to Helheim. Nothing says you have to go to heaven. Nothing says you have to go to the realm of the Gede. Nothing says this. You can actually have some choices, unless you did something stupid and made a deal with somebody where you promised a portion of your afterlife to them. In which case, yeah, in that case, you kind of would have to get dragged off there, wouldn't you? And at least do your time, whatever that time may be. But otherwise, it doesn't. So it's iffy. Now, are there instances where spirits don't know they've passed on? Yes. In those cases, I'm a big believer in help them to understand that they've passed on so they can move on. Forcefully ejecting spirits, I do not do. I'm against it unless the spirit is causing a problem. First thing I would do point blank is speak with the spirit and make sure they understand. Because a lot of times the spirit's not doing anything malevolent. The people's scared and they blame it on malevolence, and it just escalates from there. More often than not, quick and easy understanding will do it. Or the malevolent thing isn't even a spirit. It's a thought form created out of the fear of the people. And you see this a lot, especially with all the less than credible paranormal shows we now have today. So it's one of those things. I take a bit more of an analytic approach to it. I really want to know what's going on. And at the same time, there's been plenty of places I've gone where spirits of the land, spirits that have been there for generations after generations have been there. Someone built a house. Now they're asking me to throw the spirit out. Why the hell am I throwing out a spirit? It was here before you. And the spirit's not causing a problem. It's not bothering you. I'm not going to kick it out. That's just my 2 cents. But in some senses, I do those things. It's just I don't immediately jump to them for a variety of reasons. Short summary was the long rant I just gave. Skilled. Ghost Tube is the best spirit box in my opinion. Noted. I will put that on my list of them to consider if I get into buying one. I am actually looking at, there's a couple places I want to investigate. And a few of the admin team have showed interest in potentially investigating with me since my old team's no longer together. And I have considered getting us all together in one place and actually doing an investigation, getting the equipment together, going to these locations, filming it, and possibly even putting it on the channel or sharing it with locals. We might even actually pop in and do some streams during the investigation on locals if we can. It's something we've talked about in passing. I don't think they know just how serious I am about it. And if they're watching this, I guess they do. So, Immortal, the rest of the admin team, if you're watching, I might be approaching you in the next 2 weeks with a possible plan. So check your calendars and let's get nuts. So actually, if I can get us in Waverly Hills, I'll do it. But there's actually a place where I'm currently living. I won't give it away, but there's a place currently that I would actually like to investigate. But yeah, I do thank you for the ghost tube thing, because I've seen a lot of different brands. A lot of people say different things about them. So I do appreciate the recommendations, Guild. You should always ask them. Most people don't, sadly. It's unfortunate, but I will say 90% of the individuals I have met that do that work, and maybe I've just met all the shitbags, right? Maybe I just had bad luck in the ones I've met. They don't ask. And I admit, it could be my bad luck. It could absolutely be my bad luck. And the rest of the world's a lot nicer than the shitbags I've met. I absolutely will totally say that is a probability, right? I have such great luck in so many places in life. That would be a fair place to give me bad luck. It really would, if you want to go with that balancing factor. So, but yes, you are correct. You should ask them if they wish to go. That is correct. And the fact that you're saying that, I appreciate that. That is cool. Don't know who you're working with, but the fact that they're teaching you this, thumbs up. Tell them I said thank you. Not that my opinion matters to them, but tell them I said thank you all the time. All right, everyone. Jade is not here. We are after 5, and she is not here to throw clocks at me. So I'm going to have to get ready to wrap up. If you have any last minute questions, do drop them. Let me know. I'll try to grab those really fast. Don't give me the textbook questions. Give me some of the easier questions. We have next week. I'll be here next week also. Next week, we will have another topic. We're going to see how these go for a few weeks. We're going to see how the topics work, because I actually kind of enjoyed having that topic, sharing it with you all, and then jumping into the Q&A, the free-for-alls. I love the free-for-alls with y'all. And at least this week, I don't know if it keeps up like this, it's going to be nice, because it actually did give me more time to get more of my private work done, which is something I've actually been sacrificing in order to do other things for the channel. So I hope this works, because if it does keep that up and allows me to get more of my private work done, that's going to be good for me and my family. So yay. All right. Let's see. Got one. Pay attention. What recommendations do you have for someone seeking deities in legal, lawful, and justice aspects? Tyr. I love Tyr in legal aspects. I absolutely love Tyr. I also actually like Odin. Like, if I was going to pick 2 entities to speak with on those 2 factors, my go-tos would be Odin and Tyr. Odin for his wisdom on a larger scale, and Tyr is definitely falls straight into that justice and legality side. I would really sit down and speak with them. Angela, thank you for the stream. Oh, see, Angela got it too. Tyr. There we go. I'm eating pizza because you said it's your go-to. Hey, I gotta do that carnivore pizza video sometime for y'all, because that is good. I'm not gonna lie, over with that. She did not ask, just banish, block, cut away, cross up. So see, you've ran into the ones I did too. Yep. Okay. And don't let this be disheartening. This is not a knock against shamans. I know so many shamans I love and adore. You all have heard me talk about them. It's not the practice of shamanism. So don't let this give you a bad look on shamans because, okay, I've seen witches do this. I've seen spiritualists do this. I've seen, it's the practice of the individual. It's the individual and how they choose to handle it. It's not necessarily the specific practice or whatever freaking title they're giving themselves. So I don't want people to think shamans are just dicks. That's not what we're saying. It's the practice of just kicking someone out without any thought beyond your individual selfish comfort. That's the part that I want to make clear. And if that's a topic you all want to dive deeper into, we can definitely do that one week. I'd be more than happy to dive into that because that is a complex topic. So, yes, we love shamans around here. I've been accused of being a shaman. I have shamanic training. I don't know if I call myself a shaman, but a lot of people call me that, and I'm cool with it. I don't mind it. All right. Thank you. Appreciate you answering my question. No problem. No problem. I always try to do the best I can. Etiquette's good. Etiquette's good in life and in spiritual practice. I mean, look at how I talk when I show respect to entities. Etiquette. It's a wonderful thing. More people need to learn it. All right, everybody, you have a fantastic evening. I will see you all next week. If you have not, jump over, check out Locals. Poke around. We got plenty of free stuff for members, and then there's the supporter side of it. We're always trying to add new things, do crazy stuff. We do have a roundtable we're wanting to get up public to all Locals members. It will only be on Locals because YouTube will not let us do this one on YouTube. And I will see you all next week. Take care and good night.